Good day, everyone. So I got Yoimiya on my alternative account, and she's not fully built. So at the moment, she's only got like talent level 5 on a normal attack, and everything else like level 1. So don't expect any very big numbers. But I've just been sort of playing around with her. It's kind of really fun to sort of open with Yoimiya and get that like guaranteed, almost guaranteed, like power infusion with her on Sucrose. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So yeah, Yoimiya is definitely, she's not like a top tier meta pick or anything like that, but she's definitely kind of a fun character. I have thought of like very creative ways of playing with the character, like being able to dodge corrosion using her elemental burst, because she's like the one of like the few characters that actively moves her entire model, like by jumping up during her elemental burst, which is kind of cool and funky. And of course, like she is definitely like I just love it, as you can see in the background. She's obviously got the Aura's Blaze, which is kind of cool because whenever someone else on the team triggers it, you get like AoE Pyro damage that's being dealt. So I just thought, well, what if we did a quasi-ish sort of Sukokumon team? How would it look? And yeah, well, you guys saw the result. So you and Mia, I think, is definitely going to be quite fun. I can't wait to like fully build her and show her. I think for me on this account, I don't really have Wu Tao, and I've barely built any Xiangling on this account, not on my main account. And the sort of implication is, well, I've only got Klee as a pyro unit, so that's not a lot of pyro. So I think for this account, definitely having Yoimiya as a bit of a pyro unit has been like really good. So I'm very happy. The overall performance is pretty good. I think that's why I'm sort of pairing her with Yelan. I get all that little lovely vaporize, and in fact, I think with trying to farm up for you and Mia, I had to do like the Pyro Cube, and I actually saw, because I've never actually played the Pyro Cube, but when I did the Pyro Cube, just hitting like 20 to 30k with on Kokomi's normals, it just sort of shows you like the power of like being able to vaporize. It is like so cool, and I think obviously then the pairing with you and Mia, and I think you can even use Shingshu as well, with Yelan and so on, is like really good. The only downside of a Yelan sort of Yoimiya pairing that I found was, well, like from a theoretical perspective, if you think about it, Yoimiya gives herself like additional pyro damage bonus, and Yelan herself also increases the damage being dealt, but both of these are like additive multipliers. So in a certain sense, when you look at the damage equation in Genshin Impact, you do get your overall damage being increased, but the fact that Yoimiya increases her own pyro damage sort of slightly devalues that additional contribution. If you guys remember from my Yelan video where we did a deep dive, it's 1/1 plus to some of your other damage bonuses that gives you the effective utilization of Yelan's damage ramp, and that is exactly sort of what Yoimiya slightly takes away from. But I mean, it is again very marginal, very technical little thing. But I mean, other than that, they're kind of really fun to play together. And yeah, I mean, I really do like the pairing. It's been like very consistent for me, and all my little test runs and so on. But as we always say, you know, that is the more feels crafty side, not the theory crafting side. Obviously, I think theory crafters will tell you that different team comps and different whatevers will have different bigger numbers. I don't care. I just want to have a couple of pairings and stuff that's like different and fun to play, and that's sort of really the thing. That's really sort of how I can summarize you and Mia. She's all about just a different play style, but of a different way in which you need to think about how to play her, and perhaps like with the builds and so on. But it is kind of fun, it is kind of refreshing, and that's sort of what I like whilst we're waiting for Sumru. Another thing that I actually found very interesting about you and Mia was the fact that her E ability is actually multiplicative. It is not an additive sort of damage bonus and so on, which obviously means that you need to sort of upgrade her normals first and then her E ability. Otherwise, you'll just have like a lower base to multiply off, and I think that is one of the mistakes that I see the majority of the Genshin Impact player base sort of like do. Because if you look at like the talent reference in game, a lot of people are like, oh well, build up her E, but it's like, well, no, you need, if you look at the Genshin damage formula, it's multiplicative over like that whole base and so on. So you need to up your like base talent levels. Otherwise, you're just, yeah, you're not like really getting any sort of benefit. Yeah, look at what the enemy does in the background. I'm sorry, I just want to point out. It's just, yeah, it's just yeah, it's just so weird. I'll talk a bit about the Spiral Abyss and some of the weird issues that I've also seen in the latest iteration. Anyhow, getting back to Yoimiya, yeah, so just from a more personal aesthetic side, I do love the sort of Matsuri, like the festival feel of her. She's very much all about that summery vibe. I do like the Kansai dialect that she has on her. It's like really refreshing to just like hear, but something like a bit different than just this sort of standard Japanese. Of course, my Japanese is not at that level yet to sort of appreciate different dialects. So I'm just sort of keeping to standard. But I mean, it's fun stuff like when Yoimiya says stuff like Hanabihi, you know, like the festive, it's like the fireworks day and stuff like that. Just the way she phrases certain things is definitely kind of different to the ear. And it's also kind of cool because I don't typically get too much exposure to the different dialects and so on in my study. So it is kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, other than that, all I can say is she's a pretty solid unit. I was wrong about her. I mean, I think in my and this is like I think a year ago. If you really go back to my videos and stuff, I did criticize her for a lot of things, but I do think like after playing with her, my impression is kind of like a lot different, and she is kind of fun. So those of you that have her, enjoy her, and of course, if you don't have her, I do hope you get her. One of my channel subs actually did something for me. So we were talking on Twitter, and they designed a couple of things. So I gave them a bit of a reward for to try and get Yoimiya, and unfortunately, she hasn't gotten her Yoimiya yet. So if you do get your Yoimiya, please let us all know because it'll make me so happy. And yeah, she is such a fun character. I think it is worth it if you like her, if you like her aesthetic, and she certainly is not a DPS drag in a Spiral Abyss. Really cool character. Alright guys, that's it from my side. Cheers.